Welcome everyone. Today we have a pretty good topic today. We got some special guests. We're going to be talking about, the future of solar, how modern solar technology differs from the traditional solar of the past. So, we got a very interesting topic today. We haven't really touched base on it in our previous StreamYards. So, I'll let, them introduce themselves. We got DeMarco, Taylor, we got Kay on here, and we're going to talk a little bit more about solar and, how it can help you. So why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself, DeMarco and Taylor? Go ahead.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, thanks, Santiago, for allowing us to join you today. And so, we're going to, Taylor and I, who is my partner and also the director of this program, we're just going to talk about, the differences between solar utility and battery storage today versus, traditional solar that us in the real estate industry have been used to and accustomed to, both good and bad, right? But the reality is that, today's solar utility and battery storage is much, much different than it was in the past. And it is a great way to provide real, genuine value to our homeowners. Plus, it's a way for, agents to create additional revenue streams, without having to do anything. So it's just a fantastic way, just a fantastic opportunity for us to continue to extend our value to our clients and to ourselves. And so, without further ado, I'm going to introduce my manager and the director of this program, Taylor Judd, and he's going to be able to tell you a little bit more about how this program really works.
Sweet. Let's hear it, Taylor.
Awesome. DeMarco, that intro was 10 out of 10, dude. That was awesome. Well done. I've yet to find something that DeMarco just can't do well. It's great. So for those of you that don't know me, which is everybody except DeMarco, my name is Taylor Judd. I've been working with Sunrun for a decade. And I believe that solar years are similar to dog years. You guys probably feel the same thing about being in real estate and mortgage lending. If you're around for a year, you've seen a thing or two. The industry is constantly evolving, constantly changing, and as DeMarco put it, I believe this call is going to go a little bit differently than what people think when they hear like, oh, this is someone that's going to talk to us about solar. As he mentioned, this is going to feel more of an education piece, because it is really important that we understand what is actually happening in the solar industry and what's happening with our country. And because if we understand that and you have the right context, it is an amazing opportunity if it's done through the right partner. Okay. And I actually want to start off by saying, having done this for several years, I have over 700 personal customers. I've helped oversee probably over, 300,000 or 400,000 of these solar installs on residential properties. I have learned, and maybe you can vibe with this, but if there was a group that fully has earned the right to have questions or sometimes maybe even a negative taste in their mouth when it comes to dealing with solar, 100% it is realtors and mortgage lenders. And I can totally see why. It is you guys that kind of come in late to the party. You're trying to either sell or buy a home. You're trying to get someone into a home, and you come across a bad solar loan, or there's a lien or an encumbrance on the property, and that company is now out of business. And you're kind of sitting there with your hands in the air, just like, who can help me? Like, this isn't my world. And it's either slow to respond, or there's I've seen a lot of people actually lose deals that fall out of escrow strictly because of solar or the lack of education on how to navigate it.
100%.
Right?
Yeah, I can do that.
And so it's understanding what's actually happening versus what we're actually doing it's just really important. And so what I'm going to be sharing is a little bit of both, of specifically how anyone in this space can really benefit from this, but also what is actually happening with the solar industry, because you don't know what you don't know. And sometimes our lens to see solar is what our brother-in-law's friend told us at a dinner table 4 years ago, you know?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so, but yeah, so I guess before I get into all of that, you need to understand what Sunrun is now. So for context, Sunrun is the country's largest residential solar and battery installer by a mile. And we just had our latest earnings call where it was very clear. I mean, years ago, before we purchased our largest competitor, we were like 20x the size of our next closest competitor. So been in business for over 17 years, over 1 million customers across the country, which in the solar world is unheard of.
Yeah.
And we have a lot of recognized customer facing brands that we've had in the past. Costco, Lowe's, Home Depot, Ford. We partnered with Drew Scott from the Property Brothers, that he has this program on his house. And it's just, and this is by no means is this any shade or disrespect to any other solar provider, but just by definition of business model, we are completely playing different sports. We do not see ourselves as competitors to other solar companies, not just by sheer size, but by vision and what we're trying to accomplish. Sunrun has a vision to be the largest power provider in the world someday. And if there's time on this call, I'm actually going to map out why, like now that Washington is finally starting to understand what the true problem is with our power grid, Sunrun is slowly starting to become one of the most important companies in America. And here's why. Solar has evolved. It used to be about saving the planet, which again, you're talking to probably the least climate passionate person that's in solar that you'll ever meet. And there's a debate for it actually doesn't save the planet. I'm not here to talk about that. Okay. What we're also not here to talk about, and this is how eventually solar got into, it's like, okay, I want to do this, but savings, I want to save money. Let's slap up a small system, make the solar agreement appear to be amazing, have a really low solar bill. But then that turned into a short-term solution, which then caused more problems by people not having enough access to the power. And now they're starting to get multiple bills. So it's just the longer an industry succeeds, the better it gets because it evolves. Now, that is, and so does the reason behind going solar. So this is the actual problem that we're facing today. And it's really important that we understand this. Washington and the rest of our country are finally starting to realize, oh my gosh, like this is what's actually happening. It has nothing to do with the climate. It has everything to do with our power grid and the energy that is going to be needed in our country to keep up with AI. Okay. We can all agree that AI is not going anywhere. And so far, our country's adoption of AI, it's been slowly increasing. So what I'm about to share now, it's not something that Sunrun created. These are the types of sound bites and the information that we're getting from Washington, from the government, and also from these massive companies like NVIDIA, Google, Microsoft, all of these companies that we use every day, of what the horizon looks like for our country. So we know that up until this AI adoption, our country's demand on our power grid, it's always gone up between 2 and 5% a year, which is still a problem, but at least it was consistent. Right now, the use of AI, that amount of consumption in a percentage of what's available on our power grid, It's actually like below 5% still. But what all of the, I mean, safe to say that these CEOs of these massive companies, they're a lot smarter than me. Okay. So I'm going to defer to their judgment to where they are saying that if we want to keep up with the rest of the world's adoption to AI, we, within the next 5-6 years, AI will consist of 90% of the consumption of our power grid.
Wow.
Okay. And that creates another problem. The
Yeah.
issue is, like, one of our country's largest liability is the power grid. Like, that's not up for a debate. And to keep up with the current demand, they are saying that we will need to build 17 additional nuclear power plants before 2030 to be able to service the supply and demand issue for power.
Yeah.
17 power plants. And I was just in this other real estate group this morning, and we asked the question, does anybody know, like Chat GPT it, how long does it take our country to build a nuclear power plant? Depending on government approvals, it will take between 7 and 10 years to build one power plant. And it's going to cost the taxpayers between $5 and $7 billion to do so, to make one. And we need 17 more of those to keep up with what's already coming.
Yeah.
Well, obviously, like, the math does not math.
Yeah.
And this is not a call to prey on people's emotions and say, like, this is a doomsday thing. It's not that at all. It's just to state clearly what our country is going to be facing. And because of what we're facing, what is that going to look like for the homeowner down the line? Okay. So that is Washington, and these big companies and utilities are finally starting to understand that is a massive supply and demand problem. Because if something doesn't change, and this is what it's unfortunate that homeowners have no idea what is about to happen, because in any issue, if there is a supply and demand problem, that's when prices go up. Because our power grid, it's 140 plus years old. If there's not an insane amount of increase of available power, then all these big companies come in that are putting in their data centers. Okay. This is the problem that homeowners don't get. They are now competitors to these very massive companies that are comfortable paying $10 per kilowatt hour and not even thinking twice about it.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, the homeowners in the country here in Southern California are complaining it's the most expensive price per kilowatt in the country, and we're at like 40 to 60 cents a kilowatt hour. So I'm laying that foundation now just so that you can understand the narrative and the problem and the solution for solar has evolved so much. Okay. And so in the coming years, a homeowner will have one of two choices, and only two of them. They can be a competitor to try and buy the same type of power that NVIDIA and Google and Microsoft are trying to hoard for their data centers for AI, or they can control their power production and become a vendor of that power to companies that want to pay top dollar for it. Okay. So that is where it is heading. And the reason why you've seen Sunrun in the news, on CNN, on CSNBC, that why our stock has gone up over 100% in the last 18 months is because the rest of the country is slowly starting to understand the problem. And Sunrun is literally, like, you can Chat GPT this. It's the only company that is in a position to offer an actual solution, because what we're able to do to these big companies and offer these municipalities, here's a cool stat about Sunrun. Every 10 months, we add an additional new nuclear power plant's worth of power in new customers. So we are bringing another power plant to our country that also it's virtual power plant, so our customers can store it. So it doesn't even put strain on the grid. but we're offering a new power plant every 10 months. It doesn't take us 10 years.
Yeah.
Can you guys start to see of how big of a role? Like that's why I'm saying that Sunrun is slowly becoming one of the most important companies in America just because of that problem. Okay.
Yeah.
So as I mentioned, like, as I kind of wrap up, like I haven't even gotten into like the best part yet, but I care more that you understand this as a whole to give you the right context of really how much value we are bringing, not just to homeowners, but to real estate agents. Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That'll make sense.
Yeah. I mean, it does. This is great because I mean, there's a lot of agents out there too. You know, like you said, homeowners that are unaware of the situation
100%.
that the whole country's in, and yeah, like you said, AI is taking over. We use it for work all the time. As real estate agents.
Use it every day.
24/7. Chat GPT, Grok, whatever it
Yeah.
is. It's on it,
Yeah.
and it does completely make sense that power is going to be something that everyone's going to really, really need.
Yeah, they're saying electrons is the new gold. Like, people are stop investing in these other companies and they're investing in energy.
Yeah.
Right. So again, with that concept, and so now we know that the problem is massive. Now we know what the solution is. The solution is to have control of your own power, to not just make it, don't send it to someone else, keep it on property, and so that you can control that power and live a life independent from the grid. That is the solution. But now we're getting into an even bigger separation of how different Sunrun does this compared to any other solar company. Okay. So now in 2025, if there is a homeowner that has not gone solar yet, it is usually because one of these three reasons. Number one, it's because, hey, I don't want to buy solar. It is expensive. Now that batteries, because of net metering 3.0, which I'm sure that most of us have heard of, batteries are an essential piece now. It's not just a luxury. You have to do that if you want to set up the customer properly. So the battery component, which is arguably a more important facet of it, has even increased the cost even more. So if you want a home that's completely taken care of and they can use whatever power they want, and their home is independent from the grid and protected from most of the grid fees, you need to have two batteries on there. And any solar company that's just trying to get by of just doing one, long term, they're not setting up the customer in the best scenario. So a system that used to cost 40 grand is now costing $60,000 or $70,000 because of the battery storage. So, I mean, it's very logical to think, hey, I got 50 or 60 grand laying around. I want to buy a new rental property, or I want to pay off debt, or send my kids to college. Like, there's so many, in my opinion, better places for you to leverage your money than investing in solar. That's a very common sense thought. That's thought number one. Number two, and maybe you guys have thought this as well, is people say, hey, I don't want to lease it or finance it, because if you do any research, you'll see that it's possible for these pretty hardcore liens and encumbrance to be placed on the property, which if things don't go perfectly, it could make it more frustrating to either refinance or sell the home down the road, which this is the world that realtors live in, right? Which is very common sense. Number three, and this is probably the most important or the most common, is people say, hey, I love solar, but I don't think I'm going to live in this house for the next 30 years. Yeah. So, if it's even a possibility, I'm going to sell my home in 10 years or less. Is it really worth it for me to invest this cash or sign my life away to pay off a loan with interest if I'm not going to be here for the 30-year spreadsheet to like break even and then 10x my money? Yeah. Does that make sense? So it's like all very common sense, normal thoughts that the average homeowner has, especially now that solar's been around so long. Yeah. Sunrun understands that. So granted, we have every single solar program available. Okay. Purchasing, finance, and listing. We have that. I just haven't done that for a customer in years. Okay. Because we have a different program that we literally invented, and it's only been making it better since 2007, which our thought process is, hey, if solar could be provided as a utility service and nothing more, that would be a much more forward-thinking way to offer it, because it's going to be the norm. It's an easier pill to swallow from the customer side. And, we make more money as a utility provider than someone who procures and then sells solar equipment. Yeah. So that's exactly what we did. We've raised billions of dollars. Okay. And like I said, we're a publicly traded company. We're the only solar company that's ever been able to show profitability. And we've done so 6 quarters in a row. We're generating dozens of millions of dollars of free cash flow every quarter. We say, hey, so if I was talking to you, Santiago, and you were the homeowner, yeah, our story is very simple. It's like, listen, man, I know that had solar made sense to you, you would have done it already, right? We have already purchased all of the solar equipment and all the Tesla Powerwalls and all these other batteries. We've already bought them. We own them. They're not for sale. We're just looking for a place to put them. We do not have an interest in selling you equipment. We have an interest in selling you power. That's it. Period. Full stop. Okay. So we see your rooftop. It's underutilized real estate right now. Right now, it's just keeping you dry. Yeah. Right. Mm-hmm. We want to turn that roof into a guaranteed long-term money saver for whoever lives there, and a guaranteed long-term money maker for us, your power provider. Yeah. Okay. Mm-hmm. So we have to assume all the liability for the roof, for the equipment, for the production. We do all of that. The only way that we make money on this program is by when we do all of this and we send, our, like here in Orange County area, in Bakersfield and San Diego, all parts of California. If there's one house, we usually have between 40 and 60,000 customers within a 20-mile radius. Every single one of those customers are sending us a Sunrun power bill every month instead of paying their local utility. Okay. Mm-hmm. So from the perspective of the homeowner, it's very simple. We just invite them, hey, if this home is eligible, feel free to take advantage of it. It's not going to cost you anything out of pocket. It's just going to lower a price per kilowatt hour that you're already budgeting for. Mm-hmm. I mean, we're all aware that we're on these 3 different tiers right now, right? There's time of use, and your rate skyrockets between 4 and 9 p.m. Yeah. If you guys want to do the program, you get to, instead of buying it all on that structure, just buy your power from your new power company, and we're just going to give you a more realistic one price per kilowatt. It doesn't matter what time of day or how much you use. We're also going to include battery storage. So we're going to give you a minimum of 1, most likely 2 Tesla Powerwalls, which is going to completely back up the home. So those brown and blackouts that you hear about, you can forget about them. You don't need to worry about them. Okay. And we're going to install a system that is not just meant to like be as small as possible so that you'll say yes to it. We're going to max out your roof so that you can have the freedom to use as much power as what you could ever need. And here's a new perk of our program is, let's say that we build a massive system. We give you the freedom, but you actually never use all of that power. You only use you only pay for what you use. Yeah. This is the first solar program of its kind where our customers are getting billed off of consumption, not off of production. Okay. So from the homeowner, it's a no-brainer because it's not an investment. It's just getting more realistic terms for buying power. And they know that their rates are protected short and long term. And, people want to be left alone from the utilities. They want to be off the grid. They just want to use whatever they want. And so it's not difficult for us to get in front of a homeowner when they're educated on this. It's like, okay, you're telling me that I can get the benefits of solar and batteries, but I'm not buying the solar. I'm just yeah, it's like Cox versus Spectrum, right? It's just competition. That's exactly it. Now, the last two, sorry, Santiago, do you have a question?
I mean, I just kind of wanted to see then, like, what's kind of, you would say, like, the difference in pricing when you're kind of going
Yeah,
hand in hand with, let's say here in San Diego. What's like
great.
the difference? Yeah.
Yeah, so I will in doing this next part, I'm actually going to answer that exact question, right?
Great.
So here's where it gets really flexible, and you can really use this to your advantage if you're a customer or if you're someone that's in real estate that's trying to get people into homes. One of the common things that cause people to not do solar, or at least pump the brakes, is, hey, my roof is old. Okay, I got to do a new roof first, and then if I do a new roof, do I want to void the warranty by putting solar on? Or the electrical panel is old, I got to pay for that first and then make it. Here's what's cool. Remember, our business model is to sell people power for a long time. So if we find a house that is a perfect setup for us, we're going to be able to save them money, and we're going to be able to make money. Sunrun is a massive company. We have our own in-house roofing team that we can actually go and include a re-roof for that customer before we put up our solar. And it costs the customers this much money to get the roof because we build it into our price per kilowatt. Okay, so they're not taking on another lease or loan to get a roof. It's just they pay a different price per kilowatt with us than what they would have paid had we not had to improve the roof. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
And so to in-depth answer your question, Santiago, every house qualifies differently because, sun hours plays a really big role. If there's a house that has shading versus no shading, that affects our business. But what I like about the program is it does not matter how old you are, how much money you make. It has nothing to do with debt to income ratio. It does not matter if you're going to be selling the house soon. It is mathematically impossible for us to put your customers in a worse scenario than what they're currently at. Okay. Let me give you 2 or 3 examples. Like I just did this program for someone that was referred to me by another realtor where their home qualified like perfectly, as is, great sun hours, brand new roof, new panel. It was a very turnkey operation for us. And we took their $500 a month power bill. We took it down to less than $250. Okay. Oh, wow. So like, even though day one savings it's great, but it's not why people are doing this. But that was an extreme savings scenario. And then recently I had another customer where their roof was shot. Okay. But they were paying about $400 in the summer. On their average, they were on the low end, they were paying $250. So they were only averaging about $300 a month. But we gave them first we had to give them a new roof. We gave them solar panels and 2 batteries. We took their $300 power bill average, and we took that down to $265 while giving them guaranteed long-term savings, giving them the freedom to use whatever they want because, they were holding back. Like, I think everybody on this call knows someone that just uses power as if it were free, and they don't even flinch at their $900 a month power bill, right? So what Sunrun's really good at is we give our customers that $900 to $1,000 a month lifestyle without the price tag. Okay, so the long-winded answer, Santiago, is every customer that does this eventually saves money. Okay. The only time when we do this and by the way, every customer is very well aware of what they're doing and what it looks like. Like there's no surprises. Yeah. But even in like the worst case scenario, let's say I meet someone and they're on care. They have care discounts with the utility in San Diego. Those are like 35% discounted rates, like heavily discounted. So my language with them is, hey, you're already getting like a 35 to 40% discount from the normal rates. Congrats, but you have to keep applying for that discount, right? But even if we install solar panels and batteries, we're still going to be able to give you a bill that's either barely cheaper or comparable to what you're currently paying. But the long-term benefit, because our rates are capped and SDG&Es aren't, you're going to continue to save more money. But again, savings is like item 3 of what people really care about. They care about, will I be left alone? Am I off the grid? And can I use whatever I want without any fear of going over? That's how solar has evolved. So people that are in lending or people that are in real estate, imagine being able, like, how often does the home inspection become a topic of conversation throughout your sales process? So I get referrals from realtors all the time, and they're like, hey, this buddy of mine, he hasn't listed it yet, but he's planning on getting his home sold. His roof is shot. Let's go ahead and get Sunrun in there, and either they'll survey the home and they'll say it's good. So then we have another third party saying, hey, we did a roof inspection to install solar, and we're liable, right? So we feel comfortable being liable for this. That's option A. Option B is like, yeah, we got to fix that roof. So before they even put it on the market, we'll come and get a new roof on, get solar and batteries. Now that home's going to sell even quicker than what it did, because it's got a brand new roof and it's got a guaranteed discount on the power moving forward. Yeah. Or it's on the tail end when they've gotten someone in the house and they're like, Taylor, I got my new clients here. They just spent all their money to buy this beautiful house. I'm trying to find a way where I can take away from their monthly expenses. Let's look at you qualifying their home. So so that's how realtors really start to see that it's not just about, hey, a partnership and I want to make some extra cash. It's actually helping them provide a better service for your client, because we know your business lives and dies by your relationship with your customers and referrals. That's our exact business model. So we're not a solar company that's going to ask someone like, hey, you write me a check and I'll do and say whatever to get it on there, and then you never talk to us again. Like, we have to maintain a relationship with that customer for 25 years. So again, I just think that it's really aligned. And if realtors understand it, like I got some realtors that don't really care, and it's fine, and they make an extra $5,000 to $10,000 a year just by referring. Because what happens is, when you become a Sunrun ambassador, you get access to our media packages that you can incorporate into your sales product, like flyers, videos, ads, stuff like that are all approved and vetted by Sunrun. And then you just start to send over addresses and send over customers, and it's either going to be me or DeMarco that goes and meets with them. We're not gonna hand it over to no offense to like an 18-year-old that's in for the summer to like blitz and like try to convince full-grown adults with families to go solar. No, we go and visit them personally. And then every home, like, think of, do you own a home? Think of your future and past and current clients. Anybody that owns a home has a right to try to qualify for this program. And if they qualify and if they get installed, you're going to make $1,000 for each one that you sent over.
Yeah.
Okay. And there's no limit on it. So I got some ambassadors that are making between $60,000 and $100,000 a year of just kind of mailbox money, just because they understand it, they trust it, and they're leveraging it. Yeah. And some that don't really care, and that's fine. We just want to give you access to it.
Yeah, it does. That's a great program. And before we kind of wrap up here, I wanted to ask you, once they do qualify, let's say you have someone that does qualify, does it is there like a contract that gets in place? Because I mean, you guys are installing a full solar system on their
Absolutely.
roof. You know, how
Correct.
does that work?
Very good question. So people love our service contracts because remember, there's no loan or lease docs to sign. Okay. So what they're getting into is a power purchase agreement or a service agreement that says if we do all of these things, we have to install, guarantee the savings, clean it, maintain it, guarantee the production. And what they are contracted to do is buy power from Sunrun as long as we do this. Okay. Now it's kind of a segue into the most popular question with realtors is, well, what happens if someone wants to sell the house? Exactly. Right? Because remember, that's why this is such a profitable business is when we install, we have a guaranteed revenue stream for 25 years. Okay. The average life in a home in San Diego is 5 to 7 years. So like, why is it working so well if we have a 25-year contract and people are constantly trying to buy and sell homes? Well, it's because it's very easy to transfer because there's zero debt that the buyer has to take over. There's no interest rate. They're not taking over a loan. It's literally, this is the power provider for this property. Okay. So it's just a much easier conversation to have. And we have an entire team at corporate that educates both agents and buyers and sellers just so that there's no confusion. Because whenever there's an agent or a buyer that is hesitant or is kind of being difficult in a sell, it's usually because they're asking, well, how much debt is on that system? Oh, there's 60 grand in debt. Well, what's your interest rate? Well, that was your interest rate. I want my clients to get a better rate. So then you got to buy it down. And there is none of that. It's you just need to find someone that isn't a huge fan of SDG&E or Edison and say, hey, if you buy this house, you just, here's where their rates are. My rate's down here and they're servicing the batteries. You're off the grid. And even in the crazy scenario where it's like, hey, this is great, but I don't want to deal with that. I don't want a power bill. I would just rather own the system. Of course, we would sell that system to the buyer and they're pleasantly surprised because a third party comes in and explains to them how much it has depreciated. We've already reinvested the worth of the tax credit anyway. So there's just so many things. So no one wants to feel stuck, especially realtors. Right. And so as a business, we do 50,000 of these transfers every single year. So we're really good at just educating people and making sure that this actually is viewed as a green flag, not a red flag in selling the home.
Yeah, 100%. Well, yeah, I mean, thank you so much for educating everyone here on, I mean, this is a great program. I, would really recommend this to a lot of our clients now that I have a little bit better knowledge on it. And I know Kaon or Agent joined in a little bit late too, but if you guys have any questions before we go, you're more than welcome to speak up.
Sure. I just wanted to say thank you for explaining that in more detail. Honestly, like I've even been on some calls, like maybe like I think one or two in the past with you before. Like it takes a couple times for some things to click. And
For
even then,
sure.
like you only have so much time to like explain, this product, right? And so like every time, like I'm still learning something new. So if anyone else is watching, I still think it's, critical to reach out to one of you guys. That way you guys can talk to them about their specific situation, whether they're about to sell a home or they have an issue with their roof or they don't like SDG&E or whoever the provider is. I think there's a lot of things to cover. So thanks for going into
100%.
that.
Yeah. And also it is a process. In this first meeting, it usually feels like you're drinking out of a fire hose. So we know that it's a process. And the last thing that I would say, if I can, is if you can see this screen and we can have DeMarco send it out to everyone as well.
Just add it into the stage there.
Oh, great. Yeah. So if you want to get access to this, you need to scan the QR code and fill it out so that we can reach out to you. And then you can start to leverage it. So again, like, ambassador program, you get paid $1,000 for each install. You get paid the very next Friday. Guys, this is company average. So the savings are the best in California. But according to the company average, everyone that you can get to listen to this, if they do it over the lifetime of the service agreement, they're going to save like a very conservative $20,000.
Wow.
Okay. So again, it's I'm just trying to see here. Yeah. I mean, we don't need to go over that, but again, so I would, this is how kind of like the next step goes.
Yeah.
This is the most important thing. And I can have DeMarco send over all this stuff. Once you hear about it, you kind of start to think of like, all right, I got all these rental properties, all these homeowners that they trust me. If like, let's get them in contact. The most important thing for you to do, number one, is you got to scan that QR code and get access. Number two, when you introduce someone, do not say, hey, here are their phone numbers, call them, because if anyone's in sales, that doesn't work. What you need to do is just start a group chat with your referral, and then with DeMarco and myself on that chat, and then we will respond. And now your work is done, and then let us go to work for you. Yeah. DeMarco will include all of my info, and like literally you'll make an extra 30 grand a year just by setting up 3-way texts. Like it's really, really cool. And you're not sending your hard-earned clients whose relationships really matter to you. You're not sending them to a local mom and pop solar company that might be out of business in 2 years. You're sending them to the largest residential solar and battery installer in the country, who Washington and local governments are actually looking to as a massive solution to an unavoidable problem.
Yeah. This is great. Yeah. I mean, thank you so much, Taylor. I really appreciate, you educating everyone in here, and everyone that's going to watch, that's been watching now and that are going to watch once we put it up on YouTube as well. This is great. And, DeMarco, do you have anything to say before we wrap up here?
So, yeah, I mean, first again, I just appreciate, you guys allowing us this time. And again, it was important to me to share this information, again, coming from a real estate perspective and a homeowner advocate perspective, right? Unfortunately, we've all experienced where solar in the past was not necessarily, formulated to benefit the homeowner. It was always formulated to benefit the solar company. First and foremost, right? And so now there's a program that actually benefits. Another thing Taylor didn't even mention, but when we do these designs for potential homeowners, if the homeowner doesn't benefit, and if it doesn't put them in a better situation than they were currently in, then we cannot do it. We cannot nor will not do it, right? So it's only going to benefit, our homeowners, the very people who we've taken all this time to create a long-lasting partnership with. I'm sure you use the same, Santiago, as me. When I talk to a client, I'm not here to sell or help you sell or help you buy a property. I want to establish a long-term business partnership, for life with you. And we can only do that if we provide a high level of value. Right. And so it's the same concept here. We want to be able to provide a long-term benefit for our clients, extend the value that we already provide, and be able to create, an additional revenue stream that we weren't even tapping in on, nor did we know about. So it just creates an overall win-win for both us as real estate professionals, as well as the clients, and continues to be able to provide, benefit and value.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, DeMarco. Really appreciate you joining in today. Taylor, you too as well. Kayan, thank you so much. Yeah, no, this is great. Some really good gold nuggets here that you guys threw over here at us, and we'll be in touch with you. If anybody has questions in the future, feel free to reach out to DeMarco, to Taylor, to myself. I'll put my number up on here on the screen real quick. Feel free to shoot me a text, give me a call. I can definitely put you in touch with both Taylor and DeMarco or Kayan here with whatever you guys need. And if you're agents from out of state, in state, feel free to, hit our website for, any referrals. We love working with everyone. So I'll see you guys on the next StreamYard. And thanks again, guys, for joining today.
Thank you,
Thanks
guys.
so much, everyone.
Thanks,
Have a good
Santiago. I
rest of your
appreciate
day.
it, brother. You guys have a
Bye.
great day.
You too.
Bye-bye.